Hi, Niels van der Bart, Black Dragon Forge. Once again, workshop tip time. This time, stitching. How do I do my stitching? Well, this is fairly straightforward. You've got a needle, you've got your sheath prepped, stick it through the hole, start at the top, pull it through, and leave a space there. And literally, I just fold it over to keep hold of it. And now I go through alternating holes, and there we go. Now, obviously, in the video, I'm going to attempt at fast forwarding this. But trying to keep it real time, you'll see that this really doesn't take a lot of time, and I'm putting a lot of strain on the actual string or the thread when I'm pulling it through. As you can see, imagine you're playing a bass guitar. Right, that string should be fairly tight as I'm pulling it through. So, heard any good jokes lately? Okay, now obviously I'm not going to bore you with this, the next part, well, next part, I am going to continue, and I think what I'm going to ask Zulu to do, if you don't mind, is just put the radio a bit louder. Or not, let me do it, just hold on a second. So at least you get a bit of background music, as this is probably some of the most boring video you will see on the friggin' internet. Okay, now, previous video I showed you how to keep that loop from pulling through your needle, and for obvious reason. And as you can see, from the one side it goes through all from one side. My hole needle is 1.8 mil, my hole is 1.8 mil. It looks like it goes through easy, but keep in mind we do this quite a lot and we do this quite often. So, and with bladesmithing, your hands kind of turn to vice grips. So when it comes to the tip, what I do there is pull it through, loop it through a second time. Okay, so just double up with my stitch right at the bottom. And then reverse, using any surface as a way of getting that needle through. Now you can see it goes through quite tightly on the second time around, and making sure constantly you're pulling your thread really hard. And as you can see, I'm doing two holes at the same time. Okay. So the person I'm speaking to is Zulu. He is my workshop elf, the only permanent employee aside from myself at Black Dragon Forge, and he does anything and everything except finishing on blades. When I say finishing on blades, he'll do some of the rough grinding for me, and when it comes to post heat treat, or past heat treat, sorry, after heat treating, I take over and finish the blades up to hand sanding. Then Zulu will do the hand sanding for me. So all the blades that you buy from me, except for instance the daggers and the swords and those good things, will be hand sanded by Zulu. We're off to next week. We'll be doing a couple of axes, and I'll be teaching Zulu how to do grinds on axes, getting those bevels all perfect. But anyway, there we go. As you can see, my string is getting really short at the moment. Not to worry, if you stick to the 5 rule, in other words, the string is that length there times 5, you will have enough string, he says, while really worrying that it might be enough. Anyway, let's continue. We're almost there. And the reason I'm making you suffer through this is I actually want to show you how I tie off my the wax cord. It's nothing unique. As you can see, this doesn't take forever in a day. Right? There are a lot of guys that do a subtle saddle stitch with two needles. It's being said that it gives you a neater stitch. I'm not too sure about that. Well, I don't know. Once again, there are 5 million ways of doing the same thing. This isn't bladesmithing, this is leather work. I'm not pretending to be a leather worker, if that's even a term. All I know is this works for me, and seeing that I do this for money and not just a hobby. Yes, it did start off as a hobby. Okay, now, hold on. So I'm almost done there. Let me just zoom in so you guys can actually see closer in here. Oh, in frame. Okay. So what I've done is, this is my original starting point. Okay, I left my little tail there. Now my needle has gone through that same hole, but before I close it, okay, or put it through, I'm going to take this and wind it around once, twice, 3 times. Okay. Then I'm going to pull it through, making sure that that little knot there, let me just stay in picture, that little knot there is actually pulled into the middle of this. And then I'm going to, oh, not through, in the middle, come on. There we go, and obviously I'm eyeing it. And as you can see, I'm really putting some strain on there, pulling it through. Then taking my needle, going back 1 hole, alright, and going through it again. And now it really starts getting difficult. Okay, pull it straight, and now I'm going to go through that hole again. And this is where you really require a pair of pliers. Okay, so now, if you took note, the same direction you went through the first time, you're just going to do 1, 2 this time. Okay, and then pull a taut, making sure that the knot actually goes into the hole. Okay, and then pulling the other side. Sorry, I'm doing this out of camera. Okay, so my knot sits in the actual hole. It's been double knotted. Putting some serious strain on there. So the end cutter, please. Thank you. Okay, and all I now have is one of these babies. I pull on the string and then cut her off, making sure that I'm not cutting my leather and only the string. Okay, same on the other side. And that gunk you see there is purely the thread, and I've actually managed to split that tip there. Okay, so now the bigger hole there is for one of these, rivet. Okay, so I'm going to stick my rivet through there, and then clink it on there, and I'll now go and rivet it. Okay, and the rivet, why do I put the rivet in? It's purely that through continuous use, knife going into the sheath, into the sheath, into the sheath, you can see that that is a potential weak point. So putting a rivet there keeps the knife from cutting you, and if it cuts through the leather, keeps it from getting to the stitching. And there we go. Have fun, enjoy, remember to share. Cheers!